Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man Sai. Finally, it's FA Cup weekend, we're back in the cup. This is one of the rungs on our quadruple push. We really need to pass this test. If we pass this test, it's probably our hardest test. I think we're heavy favourites for the FA Cup. However, it will be no easy task because at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal are pretty strong. Home record, G'd on by their fans. Arteta will go definitely very, very strong. Whether Liverpool will go strong, yet to be seen as well. However, we're both missing compatriots, Endo, Tomiyasu at the Asia Cup. Also, we're missing Mo Salah. I think Partey for them is staying behind, right, because he's nursing an injury. I think Elneny's gone to the African Cup of Nations as well. So, slightly depleted squads. But here we go. This is what I think Arsenal will line up with. So I think Arsenal will go pretty strong here, try to assert their dominance. They're at home, they're expected to win as well. They're favourites, obviously contending for the Premier League as well. The only major changes, I think, will be Aaron Ramsdale coming in because he is the backup keeper these days. It's not a rotation of keepers. He is clear number 2 with David Raya as number 1. And I think Zinchenko has a niggling injury doubt, so Kawil will probably come in as well. And I think Saka's also got a niggling injury doubt, maybe because he's been kicked so much. You know, they've been kicking him fast. He's been fouled so much. The kind of Neymar effect. So Leandro Trossard, I believe, will come in for the cup fixture, which doesn't significantly weaken him that much because he offers a different set of skills than Saka. Saka obviously being their main man, but he needs a rest as well, and they might think this is an opportunity to rest him, pending on the strength of the Liverpool squad that's put out by Jurgen Klopp. And additionally, Ramsdale for Raya is not so much of a downgrade, just different playing styles, maybe not as good as feet or distribution. But ultimately, I think they will go very, very strong. The only potential change could be in midfield, where they could potentially put Jorginho in, right? He's a veteran, experienced, he can hold at the bottom with Rice and let Odegaard really roam as a 10. Alternatively, if Jorginho replaced one of the other two, then you can have the other one in a more advanced position. You can push Rice into a box-to-box role and have Havertz or Odegaard both as the number 10. He's got options there, but I don't think he'll probably start Jorginho. Jorginho might get overrun by Liverpool's work ethic and work horseman-like midfield. And what they're looking to do, as usual, they're looking to isolate Martinelli against Trent Alexander-Arnold if Trent does play it right back. It'll be interesting to see who does actually form in Liverpool's formation. I'll get to that in a second. So Martinelli, always a threat, very fast, very silky, shoots the hits and misses. Potentially Nketiah could come in as well, but Nketiah is a bit more one-dimensional than Jesus. Jesus really runs the channels, really works hard, always seems to be a bit of a pest for the Liverpool defence. He's just tricky and quite slippery as a customer, but not the most clinical. But he will get his shots away, and Alisson or Kelleher will need to be on form to keep an eye out for him as well. Don't give him an early goal. We seem to be conceding some early goals recently against these lads. But as long as we keep it tight, the crowd will get on their backs and get on them. You know what they're looking to do. Rice will play behind the lines and try to thread a progressive ball into Odegaard and Havertz. Odegaard will be linking up with Jesus and Trossard to try to make things happen. And they'll create space for the overload for Martinelli when they decide to switch it as well. This team is a pretty strong team. I think Quia isn't a natural attacking threat at left back, but he is defensively pretty solid as well. And you've got to be wary of the late runs by Havertz or the overload, the dropping of Jesus, and the ongoing forwards into the box from Havertz and Odegaard as well. So Liverpool just need to be quite aware of what they're looking to do, and Martinelli is obviously the danger man in absence of Bukayo Saka. I think without Wataru Endo as well, Odegaard will have more of a free run because Endo really shackled Odegaard. Endo ate his rice, prayed to Jesus, and then shackled Odegaard. No, he's not praying to Jesus. I don't know what religion he is. We don't celebrate Christianity. He might be Christian, who knows. But yeah, we celebrate Christmas anyway because we celebrate all events. Happy New Year, Christmas. We just love to celebrate, eat our KFC chicken. It's all good. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into Liverpool lineup. I've seen some very, very bizarre looking lineups from various sites and other content creators on the Liverpool lineup, and I'll give my reasoning behind this. So put yourself in Klopp's shoes, right? You are managing Liverpool FC, expected to challenge on all 4 fronts, really going for it. If you pass the Arsenal test, there'll be much kinder, nicer draws to come, and you're deep in the run as well, and then you have a chance to rotate with probably the rest of the squad. We unfortunately pulled Arsenal out of the hat. We are away at Arsenal Emirates. This is probably one of the toughest fixtures we're going to have for a while. I think on January 10th, Wednesday, Fulham, Carabao Cup, Liverpool FC. Carabao is a lesser cup than FA Cup. We're at home as well, and we're expected to beat Fulham. And it's a 2-legged tie as well, so you can slightly experiment in the first leg and bring it back home in the second leg if necessary, away at Craven Cottage. I think Liverpool need to go pretty strong here, and additionally there's some players that have to play in this lineup to show their worth, because Klopp will be backing them for the biggest matches to say, what can you do? Can you bring home the bacon? Show us what you got. Players like Harvey Elliott, I don't think will just be satisfied with the the run out against Fulham or Bournemouth in the Premier League and Carabao Cup. He needs to play the big matches, and he was trusted to play the big matches against Manchester United, against Chelsea, for example. Harvey Elliott, I think, is almost a banker. I think as well Liverpool play with a similar kind of lineup to Arsenal. Obviously, we've got different variations and different tactical flexibility in our line. I think our squad is stronger than Arsenal as well, and especially our bench and the options we got. One big miss is obviously Wataru Endo summer, because the Emperor shackled Arsenal, ate his rice, dominated the midfield, gave us a platform to push on. We really should have won thanks to Endo's efforts in the middle. Endo and Curtis Jones, absolutely brilliant players for dominating any midfield. So, who starts? Okay, first name is going to be Kelleher, because he is our cup keeper. It doesn't matter whether it's a strong opposition, not only when you get a semi-final, potentially a final as well, or Alisson come to contention. But even then, Kelleher might get the nod, because Kelleher has won us a cup before. Adrian San Miguel has won us a cup, the Super Cup. We have to back our squad, back our keepers, trust in the process, trust in the lads. Give him the protection he needs. It's not all about Kelleher. Obviously, distribution, shot stopping, one-on-one. We know Alisson is an absolute don. Kelleher's distribution is pretty good as well, but as an overall keeper, not as strong as Alisson, but he is our cup keeper. We stick with him. I think right back is pretty self-explanatory. Our whole system is catered to suit Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold. We put him in there straight away because he will likely play. We can't put Gomez in there because who's our left back, which pretty much speaks for itself. It's going to be Gomez, right? We brought back Beck. I don't know whether Beck is eligible to play or not. Apparently there's some kind of ban carrying over from Scotland. I don't know the exact rules, but anyway, I think we've got to go pretty strong for Arsenal, so our first choice. Now, Gomez would be particularly effective against Bukayo Saka. It's the Lionel Messi effect, right? Where you cut inside, you cut him off, that kind of thing. However, even against Leandro Trossard, even if they switch Martinelli over there, or Jesus running at Gomez, Gomez has the pace, recovery ability, has an attacking threat as well, so they can't ignore his forward runs. Defensively able, and he's picked up a good kind of pairing with Van Dijk as well. Speaking of which, Arsenal, FA Cup, prestigious event, captain, you put Van Dijk in there, because who's the alternatives? It's Quansah, Gomez, Konate. Nat Phillips is back. Reece Williams is with under 23, so I'm told. I don't think Nat Phillips comes into this particular fixture. It's not one for those tricky small runners like Trossard, Martinelli and Jesus. Perhaps Nketiah as well. Nketiah's less tricky, but he has a lot of movement in him. So who do you partner him with? Okay, so you'd be very tempted to put in Konate. I'm very tempted to put in Konate. He might very well put in Konate, because that gives us the solid foundation to protect Kelleher. Will he put in Konate and put in Quansah against Fulham in Carabao Cup? Now, this is probably the hardest decision of the team for me. Does Quansah come in? Quansah is big, solid, reliable, but not the most pacey. Can he track the runners? Is he alert, attentive enough to see the switching of order play? Odegaard's misdirections, Havertz's late dummy runs as well. Havertz is a great dummy runner, by the way. Don't discount that. He's a great dummy runner. And Odegaard pulling the strings without Endo shackling him. It'll be very interesting to see. Or does he put in Konate? It's a very interesting one. Konate or Quansah. For now, I might change my mind later. I think you got to go strong. It makes more sense to me to put Quansah next to Van Dijk against Fulham, because of the style of play that Fulham have. If Fulham start Raul Jimenez, Quansah matches up to Raul Jimenez better than he does, I think, against Gabriel Jesus, Nketiah and Martinelli. And possibly Leandro Trossard. He might bully Leandro Trossard. He's silky though, I do like him. Okay, number 6, we've only really got one option here at the moment, unless Thiago Alcantara is miraculously fit for this. There's been no news on when he's due back. Simicast might even be back before Thiago or Robertson. No, Thiago will come back in January. I have full faith. I think Thiago will come back on the bench in one of the next few fixtures. I'm very, very confident in that. But sexy, Alexis McAllister, majestic. He sits at the bottom, ginger in the right kind of lights. He's going to need all that gingerness, because he's going to be rugged. He's going to be really having to cover the ground. Do what Endo did. Shackle Odegaard. Rice's late runs as well. Havertz as the dummy runner. McAllister has got to be attentive, has got to use all his game intelligence, because physical attributes, he's not the most dominating. He's not as great in the air as Wataru Endo. He probably doesn't cover the pitch as well laterally, horizontally, but he's got the game intelligence, and he's more likely to be able to take the ball under pressured situations. He's a great option to have at 6, and he is our option at 6 in the moment, in lieu of maybe Curtis Jones going there. Gravenberch can't go there. Szoboszlai is not fit for this match. Matip's obviously injured for the season, so sexy Alexis McAllister there. Our 2 number 8s. Now, okay, I am going to pen in Gravenberch as 1, because he needs to show a run of form in a run of games to show that he has the ability to really make an impact in his Liverpool team. Because I mentioned some of his flaws and some of his shortcomings in the last few weeks. The fact that people are stepping off him, giving him space, doesn't move the ball quick enough, and he's prone to the sloppy ball. Just a bit rash, a bit slightly immature in his play when he's faced with certain scenario situations. But he's a technical marvel. He can take the ball in pressured situation. He can turn on the ball. He can shuffle it with 2 feet as well. He can progress by dribbling the ball, and he's an attacking threat in and around the penalty area. Not the most reliable final ball or the most reliable progressive ball, but solid enough addition there, and I think he'll probably start this kind of game. This is what I mean by giving these fringe players opportunities to start and stake their claim and show what they got against high caliber opposition. This is why probably Arsenal favourites, right? Because they will start with a very strong midfield. It will most likely be Rice. He plays every game. It will most likely be Havertz. Now, he's not a traditional midfielder, but he offers attributes there. He's quite technical. It's like Gakpo in midfield a little bit, but different attributes, quite technical. And yeah, Odegaard needs to be shackled as well. That's their trump card. They're going to look to him to hit form. If he's on fire, on form, we're going to find it very, very difficult to shackle him with this particular midfield. But saying that, it is what it is. And saying that, we do need to shackle him, and we do need our own ball retention, and there's no one better, probably, in our midfield, in ball retainment, apart from McAllister, because he's quite good as well. Endo's quite reliable as well. He can draw those fouls, not the most quickest, but he's very game smart. It's got to be Curtis Jones, our boy, our Scouser right here. Curtis Jones is probably the most reliable one in and between the lines to receive the ball, play the ball, get the ball, dribble the ball, pass the ball, left the ball. He's been playing through balls lately. He's not the best crosser. But to facilitate the system, we're going to need Jones in there for his work ethic, and he actually turns over the ball very well in the higher up positions, which we need because Arsenal are quite silky in their ball playing triangles. They know the passages of play, they're similar to Man City, the Arteta Guardiola effect, right? Spaniard. Okay, I name dropped Harvey Elliott. I think you've got to put him in. And see what he can do in lieu of Mo Salah. This is the first test whether we can really cover for Mo Salah's effectiveness. And the most similar player to Mo Salah in the squad, his protege, his kohai. We call them kohai in Japan. These are the people right underneath you, your junior, who look up to you, that you inspire, you encourage, your idol, kind of, they idolize you, and you support them. Elliott has been under the tutelage of Mo Salah, probably on the pitch, off the pitch, hand over shoulder, mano. We've got to see what he can do, because he can cut inside, he's got left foot, but he actually can go around the outside. He's going around the outside more than Mo Salah, and he's probably underestimated in terms of how much of a penetrative run Elliott has. His penetrative passing, his crossing is decent as well, and his shooting is pretty good as well. And he's a clever player. He's a thinking man's player, a la Bernardo Silva, David Silva, that kind of prototype. So I'm putting Elliott there. Now the striking positions, who have we got left? Lucho Diaz, Cody Gakpo, and Diogo Jota. We've been missing Jota in the big games. Jota the slotter to poach one away, and he's got us through in the cups as well. Last minute goals. He is the one you want the chance to fall to, because 9 out of 10 he'll put it away. Doesn't have to be pretty, he'll just slot it away. That's why he's Diogo Jota the slotter, the FIFA player, the FIFA pro, the game intelligence thinking player, because not only physical game, he also has gaming mentality of competitiveness. He's got the edge. But does Jota go left or does he go central? It really depends on who you put on the pitch. If Darwin Núñez is also on the pitch, well, he can play left as well, but do you really want Núñez running at Ben White? Perhaps you do. But then again, Núñez is a starting striker. But Cody Gakpo started against Arsenal in the last match, and did he have so much joy? I wouldn't say he had a huge amount of joy. But who's our first choice striker? You're probably looking at Darwin Núñez again. Now, with this team, do you need Núñez's pace and physicality and probably better aerial ability? Yeah, it could be quite effective, but Saliba and Gabriel are unfortunately quite good in the air. Ramsdale's somewhat floppy in the air. He's flappy, but Núñez isn't a beast like Peter Crouch or Andy Carroll in the air, but he's relatively effective. Cody Gakpo drawing into the midfield, winning a possession higher up at the tip of the diamond and facilitating the play. Now, if you play Gakpo, I think you play Lucho Diaz. But Lucho Diaz has been our starting left winger for every match, majority of the season. But he's hitting form as well. So is that our main man in the absence of Mo Salah? Is it Lucho Diaz and Gakpo? Or is it Diogo Jota, the slotter? Or is it Darwin Núñez, who's a bundle of joy? He's happiness. He brings a smile to everyone's face. Whether he skyrockets it, or he hits it in the bottom corner, or he opens the scoring. Opening the score is going to be very, very important in this match. Very, very tough choice. But let's look at a different angle, different perspective. despite who you start, who's more effective coming off the bench to make an impact? Well, we know Núñez came on against Newcastle, slotted 2 away. He's very desperate to make an impact. Cody Gakpo as well is thirsting for the chance to really prove his worth as well. Jota is the ideal sub because he comes on when the legs are tired, and he's jinky. He's got the jinky. He's very unpredictable in his dribbling. He goes right for the throat, right at you, very direct, and he's quite silky as well. But he's got that blind alley run that gets himself into the right position. So Jota is very, very effective off the bench. And also, out of these guys, who's the most injury prone? It's going to be Diogo Jota, right? And Luis Diaz had knee injuries as well. So do you protect Jota off the bench? But who's going to be offering the most on the pitch, and who's going to be more damaged psychologically if they don't start? I think you have to start Cody Gakpo, because this is a cup and he's effective, and in theory drawing Saliba and Gabriel out of defence is quite effective. And if I look at this bundle of players here, they like short balls to feet, tiki-taka, playing the ball around. Elliott and Jones can interplay, and Gakpo can come in and join in to overload the midfield as well. So where is your out and out threat, the direct runner here? It's going to be Lucho Diaz, isn't it? Lucho Diaz is the one that's going to take a man on, go absolutely full pelt onto Ben White. But then again, Ben White is pretty solid as a defender, doesn't offer much an attacking threat. But Lucho Diaz going at Ben White is encouraging to me, but he can keep an eye on them. But with Darwin Núñez as well running directly at Ben White with pace and cutting inside, I don't think he can live with Darwin Núñez either. And a crossfield balls to Darwin Núñez. I think Núñez has a pretty good chance against Ben White as well, pinning him back as well. So this is a very hard option. Or do you go Diogo Jota with the unpredictability, and then you have Núñez and Lucho Diaz on the bench to come on? This is very, very hard to predict this particular lineup. But for my official prediction, I will go, taking a moment to think here. I want Diogo Jota on the pitch, because if a chance falls down, I fancy Jota to finish it, which leaves Núñez and Lucho Diaz to come on. But who will Elliott thread a through ball to? Will be the back post to Jota or to Lucho Diaz? We played Lucho Diaz so much in recent weeks. I think it's going to be Diogo Jota. I'm going to put that on for now, which leaves Núñez and Lucho Diaz on the bench if we need them for different options, and we need to see how they go here. Now, what would they do with this kind of system? Kelleher obviously needs to be protected, so we're going to close up shop. We're going to try and do what we always do, because that has been our system for this season at the moment. But McAllister coming back, he is very keen to pick up the ball because he is the little tempo maestro. He will control the midfield alongside Trent. So in this particular lineup, with Gakpo and with Jota, I really, really want Trent to be able to find half spaces on the side of midfield. So what does that even look like then? So that puts Jones as the kind of Tracosta in this area here, because he needs to be able to pick up the ball, facilitate this ball, move the ball around to Trent. Alternatively, Konate can break the lines as well, which means that Jones has to actually cover the right side to allow Trent to get into this position as well, because Trent is a long range shooter and he can slip the ball inside the balls in as well. So it'll be very, very interesting to see the interchanging between these players to facilitate Trent going into the more advanced position or Trent going to the right half space. Now I think it's going to be more of this kind of shape here. Jones will join in and play because he's the most reliable one at receiving the ball under pressure alongside McAllister. We're going to go and get Trent into these kind of positions here. So Trent, I believe, will operate more in this position instead of this position. And the reasoning is because we have McAllister. McAllister can do what Trent can do and hit the ball over the top as well. He's got a pretty good sexy ball over the top. Jones isn't really a long ball taker, but he is the one that facilitates the ball. He'll be the roaming Tracosta, getting the ball and playing with the ball. So I want Trent to roam around this position because Harvey Elliott, for sure, is a threat cutting inside like Mo Salah. And if that situation does occur, I want to see the old school Trent around the back, whipping the ball in, Gakpo, beating him over to Jota. This kind of area here, Jota needs to get in there. Gakpo feeds in there for any scraps. I want to see that, because where is our delivery from the left? It's not that, and it's not that, and it's not that. None of these guys have a great delivery from the left-hand side. So I don't want to see that. I don't think that will be particularly effective. Where we'll get some joy on the left is interchanging of Gravenberch and Jota, short passes or bursting through the lines, that kind of thing. Or Cody Gakpo being on the tip of the diamond here. Put Trent back into position for now, but he's pretty high up. Cody Gakpo being tip of the diamond will allow the overlapping run of Gravenberch as the dummy runner straight in, or Jota in and behind. Jota isolating against Ben White. I don't think we'll get too much joy Elliott one-on-one with a player. He's more of a wide playmaker rather than a direct winger threat a la Mo Salah. But Cody Gakpo has a lot of hard work here to facilitate, hold the ball in a very dangerous position and get on the end of anything that comes in from the right hand side. It'll be a traditional game of overloading the right hand side, because these three, I don't think you're going to get the ball off these three if you're Arsenal. And the ball out to Konate, switching again. If Grandad gets the ball, hitting the ball out to Elliott. It'll be very interesting to see all these balls out here penetrating the lines. And if we need to move Arsenal side to side, there's no better player than McAllister to facilitate the ball going around. These two will be roaming everywhere like mad to get the ball. I want to see Gravenberch high up. Not just on an attacking sense, but also I feel more secure and less of a risk when Gravenberch is on the ball here, because he's a wild card. He can have a blinder and never lose the ball and do magical things here. But if he does his play around here, I'm slightly hesitant that he might be pressed and lose the ball. So that is my official prediction, and I think it will be a tight affair. I'm going to go a little bit conservative here. I've almost always backed Liverpool win, but I think based on the tough lineup that Arsenal will put ahead, and I will hesitate to say an Arsenal win, so I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, because I backed the lads to perform and bring it out of the bag, and we'll take them back to Anfield. Not the ideal result, but taking them back to Anfield will give us further options again, and we don't have too tricky fixtures coming up, so we do have the facility to put on Nunez and Lucho Diaz coming on as well. But overall, I'm really excited. It's always a top-notch game, and, you know, come what may with the result, I think I'm very fanciful for the boys to do something here, because there is a lot of versatility, a lot of options, a lot of movement. You can see lots and lots of interchanging of the players. I'm really excited to see how they perform. Predominantly Elliott will operate off the right, Trent will be in a right half space as well. We know what the back line looks like. I don't know how often Gomez will overlap here, because is it really a target to hitting Elliott at the back post unless Cody Gakpo and Jota make their way over there? I don't see it, unless they're working their way around, pinning Arsenal high enough that you're looking for the long range shooters of Gakpo, possibly McAllister as the last man shooter like Endo, and Trent on the end of it as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Very exciting match. It's a good weekend of football. Until then, Janet, Minasan, Miyazaki Manichiban. Make sure to like the video, get the video seen as well, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers now. My goodness, thank you so much, Minasan. Thank you everybody. Also, the 3,000 watch hours, I think, is the first criteria, the first milestone. And ultimately, the final milestone is 4,000 watch hours. Still 1,000 watch hours to go. But thanks to all your loving support and interaction and likes, the channel is definitely growing and getting there. We're getting some recognition as well. And hopefully you're enjoying the tactical analysis and insight as well. All of them much. Miyazaki man, Liverpool fan in Japan. Until next time, ciao.